Hi everyone.
Hello.
So today I am back on the blanket and I am sat with my friend, my student, okay, Jake Wild. So
Hi everybody.
welcome.
Pleasure to meet you all.
And I want to explain how we got to being here on the blanket. I've known Jake for many years, and I hold an event man cave where guys come together and relax and chat and be and express and be creative and tap into their spiritual selves. And Jake's been attending them. And we were chatting afterwards, weren't we? Last week we were chatting. And the conversations we were having, I was like, you need to come and sit on the blanket with me. You need to come and sit on the blanket.
Instantly agreed.
Yes, and he agreed. So I'm very blessed because thank you for being here.
It's an honour.
Thank you so much from my heart. It's awesome.
And thank you for offering as well.
Oh, that's really lovely. Oh, thank you.
Of course.
So, okay, we were chatting about, first I'm going to say where we are, because we are sat Dorset, Fabry Rings. This is where we've chose to sit.
Classic spot.
Yeah. And today up here is very, the energies, lots of clearing in the air.
Wind is talking.
Yes. So we are sat here sharing with Mama Cacao's medicine of
Very
heart
tasty.
opening. Thank you. We've been blessed. So yeah, thank you Mama Cacao for being here. Okay, so yeah, the things we were talking about that got us here was, we were talking a little bit about the masculine and the feminine, right? And we found it quite interesting how, dare I say it, but Jake's half my age. Okay.
Exactly half?
Nearly.
I thought I was still 15.
Oh yeah, of course. I know.
That was a funny moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's halfway, and we were kind of thinking how the conversation was flowing for both of us, that even though Jake is obviously in his masculine, working with that, and where I'm working with masculine woundings and stepping into my feminine, how we almost in the discussions we were having, but both were weaving to form and get to the same space of what we want in life.
100%.
We were chatting about our woundings, we were chatting about our healing process, and I actually was amazed, obviously, with having this conversation with Jake, who is such a young age, but already stepping into a space of his own progression. And I find that so honour to you, heart bow to you for doing that.
Thank you very much.
When I think I'm sat 40 odd and trying to do it, and you're like in your 20s trying to do it. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So I wanted to talk a bit about that.
Yeah.
Jake wanted to talk a little bit. Do you want to weave on from that? Yeah, over
Weave
to
on
you.
from that.
Thank you.
So, I don't know when exactly I stepped fully into this path I've taken. I think I've been on it for a long while. I just wasn't very conscious of it when I was younger.
Yeah.
So my actions have always pushed me towards the betterment of myself, for no other reason than to be a better person than I was the day prior.
Nice.
And I didn't know that when I was young,
Yeah.
but I felt it in my gut driving me, and that's led me to many experiences. One being a healthy individual who appreciates martial arts, and the connection I've made between spirituality and that, the discipline and resilience that it's taught me has been invaluable.
So how long have you been doing martial arts, Jake? Since he was tiny.
Since I was tiny, well, kind of tiny. I started when I was a little bit chubby, but that soon fell off. Soon fell off.
Yeah, the joy of moving the body, right?
Joy of moving the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was transformative for me.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the earliest memories I have of a life event such as starting a hobby that I'm so absolutely passionate about.
Yes.
That is an event that catapulted me somewhat into the path I'm still on today. And yeah, other recent events in my life provide me challenge to test my strength against. And every single time I've told myself I'm going to pull through whatever, with my head held as high as I could. And each and every time I have managed to. And I've hit very low lows. We experienced obviously very high highs. It's the opposite. And I still do to this day. But my initial reactivity to it has altered permanently, along with my perception shifting in the world. And as a result, I'm not always happy, but I'm always at peace, because there is a warrior within me that I can always retreat to, that provides base, stability, rooting, and grounding. And this year specifically, I think it's developed the most out of any other year. And I've really connected with the purpose my soul is currently desiring, and that is to experience as much movement as the body is willing to offer through expressions of martial arts. Do my very best at becoming my best within those respective arts, allowing it to keep me healthy and happy, but then to also accumulate enough knowledge and understanding and wisdom about those respective arts to then pass on my own knowledge to others.
Absolutely.
And I think that would make me very happy.
Yeah.
So,
And we have that in the martial arts world, don't we, where we learn the mind, body, soul is connected. The respect, the discipline, the movement, the breath work, the breathing, the moving, how the body, being aware of the body and coming out of the mind, but also being able to go into the mind when you need to get that dedication and focus. So it's all connected.
Yeah.
And I loved beautifully how you mentioned, you also mentioned a beautiful thing about balance when you were saying, I've had low lows, I've had high highs. And you were like, but both of them have lessons. Both of them are bringing me lessons. And regardless of the frequencies, as we could see them, rather than seeing them as lower and higher, you beautifully said, but I'm at peace with them. You said, I'm at peace with them because I know you're very much a soul that almost takes things in his stride, which is a beautiful way to be. And I'm being told to sort of say about when we're learning, we're constantly learning off each other. And that's something that I learn from you and many people. When I see people who are very chilled and in their essence of just like, remember to stay true in yours. So and take things in your stride, because I do see you as quite
I try my best.
a chilled out, beautiful soul. You do have a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
You do have a beautiful soul.
It's I think what's made me who I am today is having that disparity between the noise and the chaos that my mind can sometimes produce and what I know to be my soul, which is calm, focused, resilient and determined.
Oh my God.
And that constant struggle, that everyday battle. I've dealt with it in bad ways before. Yes. But every single time I've made a mistake, made a wrong decision in my ability to cope with or react to certain external stimuli in the world that may provoke me to be distressed, uncomfortable, anxious,
Yeah.
sad, and so on. My ability to regulate that healthily has only progressed as I've matured. But my ways of coping have not changed. But I just choose the more favourable alternative more often than not now.
Yes.
And usually for me that is training, exercise.
Yeah.
It's the healthiest form of escape I can provide myself in order to then have positive consequences after doing said exercise. So not only does it rest and calm my mind,
Yeah.
it works my body, and it keeps me in good condition, both physically, mentally, and as a knock-on effect, spiritually and emotionally.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing in this world that regulates me as well as it does. There's nothing else like it. So in that sense, kickboxing has been so unbelievably grounding and life-changing for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge amount of respect towards it, and towards you, but as the art as a whole as well. It's
The
just,
whole
it's
the whole
phenomenal.
family environment we have with our association, or soul family as we call it, is very we are very blessed. It's just it's one big heart, isn't it? I always see it with one big heart as our group. It's beautiful.
A lot of camaraderie,
Yeah.
respect and friendship. It's a beautiful thing.
And what a thing, because that actually come to me then of leading on to connection. Okay, connection, isn't it? Here comes the aeroplane. I don't know if you watch my videos, but there's always an aeroplane. There's always an aeroplane.
Does the microphone tend to pick up the aeroplane more so than our conversation?
Every time I do, I have to laugh, because it's my own little personal joke in my videos that there's always an aeroplane that comes through. Oh, I love it.
Each and every time.
Yeah, every time. It's thank you, universe. I still think I need to see that. No, so I was leading on to connection. Connection. So we were talking about how our soul family have our martial arts and connection, and like even here, just doing this connection. Do you know what I mean? It's like taking time to just be with like-minded souls, right? To be within moments and appreciating moments to their fullest. It's what we're all looking for: connection to self and connection to others. But you beautifully said about how you have chosen to weave your life to choose the healthiest option to almost function. And you have said that fitness is your kickbox martial. Yeah, absolutely. I completely get that. And again, that's a connection in itself, right? That you have beautifully chosen to focus and dedicate for your soul of better purpose, better frequency. However, we do have things that will get in the way of our best form of connection. So if we look at that, myself, I've had many unhealthy behaviours, and I still carry some that I work with. But those unhealthy behaviours will stop me getting to where I'm trying to actually get, right? That connection, what I'm actually thriving for. If I put time or focus into those, then obviously I'm taking myself away from the true connection that I actually want to be, which as human beings, we all want pure, authentic, heart-led. Yes, genuine. What a gorgeous word. So I've had times where I have destroyed relationships around me because of my lack of understanding of what I truly am trying to get. And then old traumas, old woundings have almost, been put, that I've developed, or I came into this time round with, depends how you want to see it, that I have. So it's about unlearning, right? It's unlearning. And when we're talking about the frequency within our body, why movement is such a beautiful way, is because we're carrying the frequency within our bodies, right? Our light bodies. So we're carrying any frequency. So if you've got a frequency within your body, light body, that you don't want to have anymore, that you may be holding, this is why movement's such a positive outlet. Yeah, positive outlet to get it out. And this is why martial arts can be good, because it is almost realigning with that focus back to your body self. And when you are in a area of just surrounded by love with everybody, and everyone's there for the same reason, to just get out that busy head, to leave the outside world where it is, and to actually just be here with friends and love and connection, that allows everyone to just drop and be authentic and be calm and be within themselves, and to tap into the joy of the art itself. Does that make sense?
100%.
Does that sound familiar?
Very familiar. Very, very familiar. And there's been times in class where I've achieved utter presence of moment, and I suddenly become very aware of what I'm choosing to make my body do.
Yeah.
And it elates me. It fills me with a sense of pride, because I could be in a position where I'm doing nothing like that, and I can't imagine who I would be or what path I would have taken without choosing initially to take martial arts. I believe I would be a completely different person.
Yeah. Part of the weaving, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
part of the weaving.
forming your path.
Kind of like a river, meandering through the land, the flow of life. It's beautiful, and because everybody has their. I've got some gum sticking there. Maybe I should take it out. It's a bit old now, to be fair. Is there anywhere I can put it?
You can put it. Here you go. Look at this.
I can put it on my butt. I don't want to.
Yeah, pop it in there.
You sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Pardon me, everybody. Pardon me. My bad.
Yeah, and then we'll. Thank you. Connection.
I just got deja
Being
vu.
there. You got deja vu?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
that was weird. Yeah.
We could talk about deja vu.
Yeah, that's a whole other
That's
facet.
a whole other video.
Where was I? Yeah, everybody has their light and dark sides.
Yeah.
Okay. And I believe my one is particularly violent, because it has shown in times in my life before. And those are moments that I've never ever been proud of, especially in hindsight. But the reason why I connected with kickboxing initially so deeply is because it was a direct outlet for violent tendencies, or just generally being an angrier individual than you would like to be.
Yes.
And it's like you say, it completely aligns you, and your focus becomes like a laser pointer. And there is nothing else going on for you inside your head. You are focused solely on moving the body in the way you're commanding it to.
In a healthy version.
In a healthy version,
Yeah.
exactly. And it just ultimately primed me to be a very confident individual in not only body but in mind.
Yeah.
Even though I don't feel like it all the time, that doesn't deny the fact that if those turbulent emotions do boil to the surface, I'm still a calm person underneath it all. It's kind of like a stormy sea. Sometimes the sea is a bit rougher than other days, but you still have to be the ship sailing through it and kind of like not capsizing overboard, you know.
How am I going to navigate this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just
How
gotta keep
do I
faith.
want to navigate this? Isn't it? It's like, do I let do I just sort of flow with it? Or do I let it capsize and then everything spills out, all my emotions come out, and I'm like, ah! Or do I just, let's flow with this, see where it goes, and learn the lessons that we need to see.
Totally.
I'm loving your your terminology of turbulence, and this the rivers.
Yeah,
And it's gorgeous.
it just feels
beautiful.
it feels like that to me. So I think recently I've developed a way to better put my feelings directly into words, as opposed to roundabout in my way about how I want to convey how I'm feeling to somebody. So that to me recently has been a very valuable lesson.
The heart
The heart.
to the throat, and then opening out with authenticity. So we've had a lot of heart activations lately. So the heart opening the throat can be quite a struggle for a lot of people still, speaking their truth. Or
Wells up.
Yeah, I see
to
it
let
as
it
singing
out.
your truth is your voice. So how have you navigated that? I suppose I want to ask, with your world, I always wonder, my world, I have sort of found my people as I've grown up. You being half my age, say it again, I feel really old. Okay, so you being so young, or new on this world, do you have similar people around you that it is a safe space for you to talk so open about these sort of things? Are your friends open?
I'm fortunate enough to have people like that in my life. There are few people I can talk openly about anything with, but one of those people is my brother. Me and Josh, very similar yet very different. We almost mirror each other. We've had some.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So
siblings are great, right? I've got one of those as well. My sister. Yeah.
they're amazing.
Yeah.
So me and Josh have established quite a genuine connection through that, especially recently. He helps me understand more about myself than I could have just alone.
It's beautiful.
Because he put our comparison quite beautifully. But my personal struggle he described as saying what I truly mean to say directly from the heart when I get the feeling to say it. So it bubbles up, and then you just have two choices, whether to say what you want to say in that moment or not. And I think recently, alongside Josh's help and my kind of personal progression, I've been doing so much better at just saying and not thinking about saying and delaying and putting off what my heart means to say.
So what is that in the past that has stopped?
Barriers, psychological barriers of some sorts.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring out what exactly all of mine are. I've got a decent grasp on a lot of them.
Yeah.
But you can always go deeper. And I would say probably my experiences in previous relationships, maybe not getting the feedback I wish to hear after I exposed my vulnerabilities and my emotions. I think after experiencing a bit of that and the pain that accompanies that, I just started to shield and wall off a little bit.
Yes.
And that was kind of during my mid-teenage years. And I think at that time in your life, the experience of love is obviously so novel and so new, so incredibly intense. And like I've reflected on previously in this video, you get high highs, you get very low lows, especially with your first experiences. And I think because that was quite a critical period of time for me, it walled me off to a certain degree. They call it stonewalling, but I've done super well as of late to start to bring down those walls, and
Yeah.
they don't come down quick, and it's scary.
It's progression.
It's progression.
It's a progression.
Yeah.
Time is a healer, as
Time is a
much
healer.
as people may say that it's, it's a corny one-liner, but it actually is.
It's true. It's true.
Time is a healer, allowing yourself time. And I beautifully loved how you said, Jake, about you give yourself time to respond how you want to respond. I sometimes almost feel myself speeding up, with life, speeding up with the chaos. And I kind of go, just come back to slowing yourself down, to allow yourself to hear your true self, your heart. Give yourself a chance to respond. How do I really want this to weave? Am I responding from love, or am I responding from an old trauma, an old way, a wounding? And the only way you can do that is if you actually do slow yourself down, right? That's what I find. I find if you can give yourself the time. And that's why it's almost important, you were saying you with your brother, as Josh, that you reflect each other. I'm going to guess you give each other that safe space, that time to be. I'm going to guess that there's no fear of judgment. I'm going to guess that you can be vulnerable. And no fear of abandonment. Because you mentioned about past wounding, of how you've been received by certain people in your past that almost make us do put up those walls, right? And it's because, so we don't go there again because we are scared of being abandoned again.
Possibly.
So it's like, okay, I'm not going to be vulnerable again because
This happened last time. And it's bound to happen again. And you can get stuck in that pattern of thinking. And it's extraordinarily hard, but equally as important to work on that and dedicate yourself to holding responsibility for your very own walls instead of attributing it to other people, because it's nothing to do with them ultimately. It's only you and your problems that you need to kind of settle and work through and dedicate to bettering.
the ownership,
The ownership.
the responsibility. And do you know what? A lot of people may never figure that out, or when they do, sometimes it can be a bit late. So
And that's a shame.
good for you for doing it so young and realising.
It's been I don't know if it's unique, because I know a lot of humans experience what I'm experiencing. But I found that despite the people I have around me, who are amazing individuals, and all of them are in their own path, and I can see that, and I'm extremely proud of my friends and my family for also dedicating themselves to their own way of bettering themselves, because everybody has a different way of going about it. And like we mentioned, the main one for me is martial arts. For somebody else it'd be
You've got to allow people to be themselves, so you be a safe space for them. So you've got to accept that this is where they are on their journey, this is how they are, this is who they are, so that you're reflecting that space back to them.
And so for that, I'm very very grateful to just have people who are aspiring to be better versions of themselves, and that makes me feel far less alone in this world, knowing that there are like-minded people who are striving for their own means, that could be in contrast to mine, and I mean, it's been quite an experience, I think, kind of delving into this path that I coolly name the path of the warrior, just because I want to sound like a badass. But really,
there's a lot of warrior energy. There has been a lot of warrior energy this year about, but has been very empowering.
Empowering is a good way to surmise this year. It's been painful but empowering, and it's allowed me to sort of come into my power more gracefully and more organically than, when I was trying to do so years ago without the required wisdom or understanding of the world and the universe around us to really appreciate it fully.
Yeah.
At this age, I think it's easy for other people to misunderstand or misinterpret what your aim or your goal is. Because obviously before you fully mature and blossom into a fully grown adult, a lot of people may attribute values and focuses towards the wrong things, or not typically the wrong things, but things falling maybe a little short of what you're meant to be finding in life. So people could focus on money, focus on fame, focus on relationships even. That can be a huge part of people's lives that people can ultimately fall into.
Yeah.
And that's probably something I'm quite prone to. But one thing that always pulls me back is the good habits that have thus far shaped my life.
Yes.
So no matter what's going on, the struggles with being my age, albeit there are very few, but I think trying to find your place in the world at this age is particularly hard. I think people believe they're meant to before they're 30, but people see other people's progression and maybe the speed of that progression, and they can sometimes envy that and want to progress as quick as somebody else's, but in that they lose sight of what they're meant to be doing for themselves, and then they can chase. But as you've emphasised, taking things slowly, coming back to your centre, breathing, and being present. I mean, nature's amazing for that. But
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's so important to not lose sight of who you are when you're at your calmest, at your quietest. What kind of thoughts enter your head when there's nothing going on? What can you think about? What questions can you ask yourself?
And be honest in that space.
Honest.
Be honest in that space. I'm a
It's
real...
just you.
Yeah, absolutely. It is just you. And I'm a real feeling the at the moment of trusting the timing of where you're at. I was sat when I was listening to you saying that about by the time you're 30, you kind of should almost have your life together. And I'm thinking, wow. I'm thinking I'm 40 and I'm still finding my life. I think it's always a progression, always trying to not strive for something, because if you're always trying to strive for something, I think you're never happy in the present moment.
Because it's a means to an end.
Yeah, you're always chasing something, and it's like, why not just be? And I really sit. It's a question I'd like to ask you is, I really sit. I can have a wiggle in the legs.
A wiggle.
I was just gonna have
Knees
to
cracking.
shrink down for the camera. But I really find that when am I at my happiest? When am I at my happiest? And to really ask myself that question at the moment of honesty. I have put myself in situations because I have to go, or I have to be there, or it's something I've always done, but then being uncomfortable when I'm in them. So I have really spent a lot of this year, a few previous year before, of working out where am I truly at peace. My happiness is in my flow, my flow of dancing, my flow of moving the body, martial arts, my flow of talking with somebody is a real flow for me. Yes, being with my drum or my rattle, and just almost being with my ancestral self. Where do you feel you're at your happiest?
Similarly to you, in my flow. my physical flow.
Yes.
And yeah, there have been many sessions recently at kickboxing where I suddenly become very aware of my place in the class and what I'm doing with my body, and I feel a sense of bliss and utter peace, even though I'm exerting myself physically. My heart's pounding, I'm sweating. My mind at that point in time is so still, and I'm in my element, and I think to myself, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. This is it.
And can you form that calmness in other ways of your life? That's it, isn't it? You learn it there, and then you take it into other. So it's meditation, isn't it? It's a form of meditation.
Waking meditation.
Yeah, moving, waking meditation. So you almost then take that into other forms of life, don't you? Many times when I started learning about mindfulness and meditations years ago, it was very much, okay, wash the dishes. Wash the dishes. Don't wash the dishes, wash the dishes.
With intent.
Yes. Be really mindful of what you're doing. And that is the connection that I find with martial arts.
Yes.
You're really mindful in that moment, and then you take it into everyday life, right?
That's why I say it shapes me, because that ability to translate what I can take from kickboxing into other areas of my life is what has proved it to be invaluable to me. And that's kind of what I want to base my teachings off of ultimately, is getting people into a form of fitness or an art form like kickboxing or any martial art, and teach them to be like, right, how you feel when things are clicking, you're having a good session, you know, have a good joke about with your buddies as well that you're training with, and you're kicking ass. That feeling can be felt all the time in any other area of your life. And you just got to find means of translating it. So for me, you know, if I've got a lot of free time on my hands at home, love to read, love to play video games, and I think reading specifically, because video games can be quite noisy, very stimulating as well, so your brain's constantly working, which is good in its own way, but they can be very addictive.
Balance. You mentioned your books, your video games, balance. What do I need now in this moment?
Might go for a stretch. If I have played, you know, games for an hour or two, I'm like, stiff, my hips aren't feeling great, I go for a stretch.
And it's so that leads me on to saying, it's our intuition, isn't it? It's hearing ourselves. It's your intuition, so it's hearing what you need within each moment and having time to allow that for yourself, isn't it? So I think that, okay, what do I need today? I do that very much within my dancing. I will sometimes be like, okay, I feel like I'm holding here and I need to almost get it out. So I might dance a bit heavier through the body. And then other times I'll be like, okay, I want to tap into my feminine. So I might obviously dance a little bit more sexual. Or I might be, okay, I'm feeling like I just need to move and take up room. And have big movements. We have had a little bit of a discussion about dancing. Is this okay to say?
Oh, I was literally just thinking about bringing it up because I've had a blast with it recently.
I will let you go into it then. Good. Crack on.
Just like you just said, you can approach a dance in various ways, approaching it with different energies. Obviously, depends on what you're listening to as well.
Because music is.
It's a you know, it aligns with our it changes our frequency. It alters our brain waves. We literally think and want to move differently when we listen to music.
If you think about music in water,
Yeah.
you know, you play music to a bowl of water and you see the frequency change of what the beat is. So that's what's happening through your body because you're water, right? Carry on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we've got a visitor. Hello, darling. Oh, we've got a little doggy come to join us. Oh. No, thank you.
She's very muddy, so I don't want to get in.
Thank you for the offering. Thank you, darling.
Beautiful pooch.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Mm.
Yeah, you can approach it with a bit more masculine energy, a bit more feminine energy.
And how are you finding that?
I'm finding
Is
it really
it
good.
new? How does
It's
it
new.
feel? Okay.
It's new to me, but I can feel how good it is for my body, especially for my spine. It's been amazing for loosening up my hips, for mobilizing my spine,
Yeah.
because I do keep myself in very good nick, but there's a lot of wear and tear involved with being as active as I am, and it manifests in my mid back, occasionally my hips, in my elbows,
Yeah.
which is why you see me like wrapped up with like an elbow sleeve.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just inflamed. My tendons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's our bodies talking to us, right?
Yeah.
So this is a lot of the work that I work with is understanding. If you're aware of Chinese medicine, everything. Our body is constantly talking to us. So you have a elbow, okay, left side, feminine, holding. So there's lots that our body is always talking to us. So
Always.
being body aware is a very powerful tool for yourself to be able to understand where you need to go with it. Like you're saying, I feel my spine needs to move. I feel my lower body wants to move. Okay, so this is your roots.
Yeah.
This is your sacral, this is your confidence. This is it's your freedom, it's allowing yourself to be, and you're feeling that.
Yeah.
But not only is he feeling it, he's stepping into it.
Yeah.
Which, the confidence to have that is beautiful.
It's done me very well actually so far, and I'm slowly working up more and more confidence in order to actually dance in front of other people on a consistent basis, because I still feel very self-conscious of the way I move my body, despite me knowing I can move it well. And yeah, again, it ties back to martial arts, because dancing and martial arts is one and the same. Fighting is a dance,
It's a dance.
and then the footwork from knowing martial arts translates into dancing, and it's synchronicity. It's
Life's a
beautiful.
dance.
Life's a dance. Yeah. Exactly. So I've begun to really appreciate that about dancing as a form, and it's not like I'm learning how to dance. I'm just letting myself express how I want to, and just seeing how I move my body in response to that. And I mean, from
That's beautiful.
from the few people
Really
who have seen me
beautiful.
dance, I've gotten good feedback. I'm doing an all right job, so I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
I always find it interesting when people say to me like, "Oh, well, I don't know how to dance," and I'm like, "Oh, is there a set way?"
I used to say that. I used to be one of those.
I
don't even
know.
know how to dance. I'm not even going to try it.
And I'm like, "Is there a set way?" I wonder who's planted that rule in life that there is a set way to dance. And I think people that know my stuff know that I just flow with what comes through. And I have had been very conscious of and worried about what I look like. Body dysmorphia. I've had a lot of internal body arguments, let's say, with my head and my body. So the fact now that I use movement to go, I kind of don't care what I look like. It's how I feel, okay? And I see movement as light language. So it's our light language.
I like language.
Yeah, it's everybody's moving through this world as in their own unique formula of light. That's how I see it. So the fact that when people then go, "Oh, I don't know how to move," and I'm like, "But it's you." So there is no other you.
Let's spill out.
Yeah, there is
go
no
for
other
it.
you,
Yeah.
because you're your own unique. Even though we are all one from the same source of light, you are though your own essence of it. So yeah, when people say, "Oh, I don't know how to dance," I'm like, "Ooh, I wonder where the book is on how to do things."
How to dance for dummies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just like, I find it so interesting when people think that something is a set way. This is how something's done. Is it? Wow.
rooted in
Let's
tradition.
challenge it and
Yeah.
see. Let's see if you can make your own version of it.
Break the wheel a bit.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to be so awkward and stiff in my dancing, or at least I thought I was. But that was the very thing that was stopping me from dancing like how I dance now, is the thought that, oh, I'm not dancing the way I would. Like, that very thought was like a barrier for me truly expressing through movement.
Head getting in the way, right?
Head getting in the way all the
Head
time.
getting in the way of what your heart and soul wants to do.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All the time.
I've done that many times.
Yeah.
I've done that many
You
times.
just got to work with it. You got to recognise it. Like,
Yeah.
the voice in my head is not me speaking. It's it's another language speaking to us through emotion. I think
Wow,
that
yeah.
voice in your head, if I were to describe it, it's language being expressed through emotions arising within the body
Yes.
from your mind, injecting those emotions into the body, and that's always going to happen, but your response is what really makes the difference to how you begin to feel if your mind feeds you
Yes.
what your ego wants to hear.
It's like an old programming, right?
Yeah.
So you have like this old programming that's saying like gets in the way, and
Mhm.
you're like, but this is who I am now.
Yeah, it's outdated software.
Oh, I
Outdated
like
software.
that.
Yeah, get rid
I
of
like
it.
that.
Bin it.
Outdated. I like that.
And what you
I'm going to
mentioned.
steal that.
Yeah, steal it, steal away. What you mentioned earlier about basically unlearning. You're learning to unlearn things.
Yes.
You're learning to unlearn your conditioning,
Yeah.
your behavioural patterns that don't serve you anymore.
Mhm.
Because everything in your life conditioned you to act the way you do,
Mhm.
as well as, you know, you have your own traits, your own personality, your own soul, but there are quite a few environmental conditions that shape you as well. And I think truly maturing and growing into your truest self is realizing, like, those old patterns,
Mhm.
that old software doesn't serve me anymore.
Yep.
It actually holds me back from growing and nurturing myself as a person, so I need to replace
Yeah.
that old software.
But thanking them for being a part of you that got you to here.
Accepting them.
Because guilt and shame and resentment
Mm.
can become a place that you don't want to be placing on yourself.
No.
But however, they do have a frequency of awareness. If they're there, they're valuable
Mhm.
because it's still a place to look at, it's still a place to learn. So it's not about switching them off, it's about having the awareness of why they're there. What do you want me to see, and how can I evolve and shift for that, right?
Absolutely. And that has
Wow.
been the greatest lesson ever taught to me. It's like, what I know
Yeah,
isn't the best to know.
yeah.
So I have to realise, oh, I don't know anything, okay? But what I do know is that what is currently in my arsenal is not doing me justice, and I need to do better. So to unlearn what I've been conditioned with, what I've been led to believe, that is the priority in becoming a not a happier individual. That can be a byproduct, but being a more sort of restful individual, less restless, less turbulent, less reactive, volatile. Being
Awareness
still.
is key.
Awareness is key.
Awareness is key
Totally.
to unlocking anything that needs to rise, wherever it's coming from, whether it's coming up, you know, the busy head, down here, wherever things are rooting from. Awareness is key for you to understand all versions of yourself. Because all versions are allowed, right?
All versions.
All versions
All
are
versions.
allowed. I'm okay that I'm angry. It's okay that I'm angry. I'm allowed to be angry. You annoyed me.
Yeah.
Okay, how do we deal with that? What do I need to see?
You
What was the
disrespected my
annoyance?
boundaries. I can be angry at that.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
not angry at the person, but angry at the boundaries that they crossed.
Yes. Yes.
That tipping point. Because anger
Yeah.
can be directed at people, but that's not the source of the anger, that person. It always comes from within.
Yeah. Why is it here?
Why is it here?
Why is it here?
Ask yourself that question.
Why is it here? Where is it in my body? What does it want me to see?
Totally.
Okay, right. Jake, I could talk to you all day. Oh, he's getting old. Okay,
Likewise.
I could talk to you all day.
Likewise.
But thank you. I really want to thank you so much from my heart, because I love listening to people and learning, and I learned so much from you. All of my students teach me every day that I'm teaching. But you've been around for a while with me, so I've learnt a lot from yourself. And I want to thank Jake, because I've held quite a lot of masculine woundings because of old traumas. And doing things like this, sitting with a guy that is growing, that is in a beautiful space just as he is, helps me to heal within my masculine wound. So thank you for that. That's an honour to receive that for my heart, and I know that everybody else will be listening to your inner wisdom and taking from this what resonates with them and what they need to hear.
I'd hope so.
So thank you for this time.
Of course, Mum.
And thank you to Mama Cacao for opening our hearts
Thank you,
even
Mama
more.
Cacao. And thank you, Karen, for providing the cacao.
Oh, you're welcome.
Giving me a proper intellectual boost with the caffeine there. That was much needed.
Oh,
thank you.
Good. Okay, so from us on the blanket, thank you, Jake, and from my heart to yours. Till next time.
Till next time.
Thank you. Bye.